They say reality often outdoes imagination, and today we'll dive into 3 jaw-dropping stories that prove it. But before we jump in, if you love mysterious, dark and compelling stories told in a captivating format, you're in the right place. That's all we do here, and we upload new content every week. If that sounds like your cup of tea, show some love by liking the video, maybe with a twist, like mailing a glitter-filled birthday card. Don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications so you never miss out on our weekly uploads. Now let's get into today's lineup. In March 2012, 5-year-old Maria sat on her kitchen floor in northeastern Brazil, munching on an empada and watching her aunt cook stew. An empada, Brazil's take on the empanada, was a staple for Maria's family, renowned locally for their delicious pies. While her mother was out selling these treats, Maria's father brainstormed ways to elevate their family's reputation. Maria's family had one mission: to become influential and respected. They worked tirelessly, not only perfecting their empadas, but also strategizing ways to make their name synonymous with success. One day, Maria's mother returned home with a triumphant smile, announcing she'd sold all the empadas and introducing a new nanny for Maria. However, Maria, having seen other nannies come and go, wasn't convinced this one would stay. Despite her reservations, Maria tried to be friendly, offering her half-eaten empada as a gesture. Her mother sent Maria to play outside, promising the nanny would join her soon. But after an hour passed with no sign of the nanny, Maria grew curious and returned inside. A month later, Maria was playing alone in the backyard when she heard shouting from inside the house. Moments later, police officers stormed out and one approached Maria asking for her name. Confused and terrified, she stayed silent. What followed was a revelation that shattered Maria's world. Maria's parents, George and Isabel, along with her Aunt Bruna, weren't her real family. They were members of a sinister cult called the Cartel Sect. Their obsession with impressing fellow cult members drove them to horrifying acts, including murdering women deemed impure and incorporating their flesh into the empadas they sold. Maria's so-called family had turned cannibalism into a twisted means of gaining power within their cult. Tragically, Maria was the daughter of their first victim, her biological mother, whom they killed when Maria was just 18 months old. Unknowingly, Maria had been fed pieces of her own mother. The truth came to light after they used a credit card belonging to one of their victims. The trio was arrested and convicted of multiple murders, including Maria's mother's. They now serve life sentences in Brazil. As for Maria, she was reunited with distant relatives. Her real name remains concealed to protect her identity. On a chilly January evening in 1989, an 11-year-old girl in Rochester, New York, came home from her paper route looking unsettled. When her mother asked about her day, the girl hesitated, eventually describing something odd. She had delivered newspapers to an elderly man who usually waved at her from his screen porch, but that evening his legs appeared strangely vertical, as if he was sitting upside down. Concerned but unsure what to make of it, her mother brushed it off. The next evening the girl returned, even more disturbed. The man was in the same bizarre position but didn't wave back. Worried, she approached the porch only to find the door locked and no response from inside. Determined to investigate, the mother visited the house the following morning. The porch obscured her view, but she noticed 2 untouched newspapers on the walkway. Approaching the door, she peered inside and finally understood what had happened. The elderly man, Robert Ham, had tragically fallen into a trash can on his porch 2 days earlier. The lid had given way, leaving him trapped in a V-shaped position, unable to breathe or call for help. Waving to passers-by was his desperate attempt to signal for assistance. Sadly, no one realized his plight in time. By the time the mother saw him, Robert had passed away from a heart attack caused by his restricted position. In rural Oregon on the morning of September 25, 2012, 69-year-old farmer Terry Garner began his usual routine, feeding his beloved animals. Once a butcher, Terry had retired to a peaceful life, treating his animals like family. His pigs, some weighing over 700 pounds, were his pride and joy. That evening, a family member arrived at Terry's home after failing to reach him by phone. Finding the house empty, they searched the property. They saw the chickens, goats and pigs, but no Terry. Then something caught their eye in the pig pen. At first it seemed unbelievable, but upon closer inspection they made a horrifying discovery. Terry's remains were scattered in the pen. Authorities concluded that Terry had likely fallen or suffered a medical emergency while feeding the pigs. In their hunger, the pigs had attacked and consumed him, a rare but documented behavior in large, aggressive pigs. And that wraps up today's stories. If you're hungry for more chilling tales, check out our podcast where we share exclusive stories not featured on YouTube. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next week for another dive into the strange and mysterious.